Hey everybody, it's Julie. Thanks for joining me today for another Bible journaling process. We're journaling in Deuteronomy chapter 6, one of my favorite passages in the entire Bible. This is a verse, actually a section that I have just loved ever since, for the last probably 25 years, ever since I became an adult. So I'm starting off, and I use that age-old trick to make a heart. And I folded a piece of cardstock in half and then cut around, made a little heart. And this is going to be a template, kind of a stencil. And I'm taping it down with some washi tape. And notice I'm sticking it on my hand first. That just takes some of the adhesive off so that it's not going to stick to the Bible page. And now I'm sponging. This is an Illustrated Faith, a pigment ink pad, and it's kind of a silvery gray. It came in one of the devotional kits from last year. I think it was the Gratitude. Yes, I think that's what it was. So I used that. I didn't really like the color once I did it, but it's going to work. And now I'm using one of the stamps. This is the one that says lead, and now I'm going to switch to the one that says teach. And I'm just alternating. I'm doing random stamping here and there because I've masked it off with this heart stencil. It's going to kind of hang off, and I'm getting this heart shape, and it's just going to be a nice little effect. As soon as I saw the stamp set in the Faith Art Box for October from Creative Retreat, I knew that I had to do this passage where it says lead and teach. I'm a teacher, and I am a leader in church, and I am a mom. And so this passage has been kind of my mojo, my MO, my modus operandi ever since I first learned it. Back when I was in grad school, I did my master's in religious education, and this really was our theme verse. So I'll talk about that a little bit more. Now I'm sponging around the heart, and so I took the heart that I cut out and I'm sponging around it. So I get that sponged around it and then the inside. Now the problem that I'm finding with that gray is it looks kind of green here, but you know what, it's going to work because the cardstock that I'm going to be using in the washi tape has kind of a sagey green color, so it's going to end up working. So I'm stamping lead and teach, and what I'm going to talk about here is the passage says, and these words which I command thee this day shall be upon thy heart. And here's verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. So that's the American Standard Version. What this is talking about is we need to be teaching. I need to be teaching at every moment of my life, not just at when I'm at church, or not just in family worship, but with my entire life. When I'm sitting down, when I'm walking, when I'm lying down, and when I'm getting up. That's pretty much every moment of the day, even when I'm asleep. I need to be teaching my children. I need to be teaching my students. I need to be teaching the people that I interact with, teaching them. It's talking about the commandments of God, and the commandments of God are His character. So this passage, what my journaling says here is lead and teach my heart, and then I'm going to say, so I can lead and teach their hearts. So I just stamped using the words lead and teach, and then I used the hearts from the sticker set to mean my heart, and then I used 3 hearts down there to represent their hearts. These are my 3 kids, but it also just represents my students, the kids that I teach in church, and in all the interactions I have, the kids I teach in my classroom, and then, you guys. everybody that I have interactions with and everybody that I come in contact with, my neighbors. I want God to lead and teach my heart so that I can lead and teach them. So back to the page here, I stamped, I sponged, I highlighted the verse with the ink. If you saw what I did, it's kind of a mint color, and I just tapped the ink pad, and then I used my aqua brush to pick up some of that ink, and then I just use that kind of like a paint. So I'm hand lettering now to fill in the words, and here's where it says Lord, and so I can. But I primarily use the stamps so that it would fill that message in. And that's the good thing, because the Faith Art Box is not available anymore. It's also sold out, but the stamp set is. So you can pretty much recreate this page. Now those hearts are not available, but you can use any kind of heart. You can even draw hearts. You can write the word hearts. So what I'm doing now is I am going to write out around the perimeter of the heart, thou shalt teach them unto the children, and I'm writing when you sit in the house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Those 4 things, because that's pretty much all the time. All the time. And so I'm using these little enamel hearts now, and I'm just going to separate each phrase with these little enamel hearts. And yeah, I am turning my Bible upside down, but I can't write upside down, so that's what I'm having to do. Thanks for bearing with me here. And so I like the way this looks when I flip it around and I just go around the heart. I am moving these little hearts around a little bit just to get some balance, because I feel like I need the odd number of hearts. See how right now it looks imbalanced. I need something over on the right. So I outlined the stickers, the little hearts. I'm doing a couple more of these bouncy hearts, the stamps, and I'm just separating the different phrases. I'm underlining the verse again just to make that stand out a little bit more. I'm sponging around the edge of the page. I tend to always do that. That's kind of my signature. I love doing that, unless I've painted the page or done something else. But if it's just a basic background, I tend to always sponge it. I just use a craft sponge. You can use a makeup sponge, a dauber, anything like that. You can even just use the ink pad, but it's a much softer look if you use the sponge to just pick up a little bit of ink on the sponge and then scrape it. Okay, now I have to apologize, because what you're going to see right now, well, you're not going to see it because it's up off the top of the screen, but I'm making a tab, and I'm going to stamp the word teach up on the tab here, and then I'm going, yeah, see, you can't see it. I stuck that up there, and I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape. I'm just talking it through you now, but you'll be able to see in just a moment what it looks like. This washi tape is pretty thick, and it comes from Joann's. I just love this set. It was Miss Sparkle and Company. And then I stuck the tab up there. I'm using another enamel heart. And now, because I have that washi tape that I cut up, and I hate wasting washi tape that I've used, I'm just making a little cluster right here in the middle of the page. It's a beautiful washi tape, and those colors, it's got that sage and that kind of that rust color. And so I'm using one of these stickers that says lead, and I'm just going to stick that right in there. Up at the top on my tab, I put teach, so I really want to emphasize the other part of it with lead. And again, I'm going to use another heart here. I love these little tiny circles with the hearts in them. So now I'm using this beautiful bow clip. And what you see me doing right here is using my embossing buddy, and I will link a product that you can use, and it gets rid of the adhesive on the back of that tab, because I cut it so I can use it twice instead of just folding it over. So let's see, I'm just stamping my date. I do a little bit of journaling up at the top. I think you might be able to see that in just a moment, unless I've put that off of the top too. But this is just basically my prayer. This is my prayer as a parent, as a teacher, as a leader. Now what I'm doing is I want to kind of make this interactive. Again, I'm not really pleased with that murky gray color, so I took the cardstock that matches that washi tape and I cut it in the same shape of that heart. And now I'm going to make just a little flap. I'm using some washi tape and I just taped it right there. And then see how precious that is? Now I can just open it up. That gives a focal point, and it also covers up what I didn't quite like, but I can still open it up and get that interactiveness and get that, that effect. Now this is one of the stamps in the kit. It's actually a very versatile stamp. It's this border, and I'm stamping along the edge, and the ink that I'm using is from Creative Retreats. It's a chalk ink pad. This is the Cloudy Coral, and it is a permanent ink and it dries immediately. It's a soft look. I just love it. This is my first time. I just purchased these. I purchased all 4 of the Creative Retreat chalk ink pads, and I love them. They are permanent. They don't bleed when you try to watercolor with them. They're just wonderful, so I love them. And I really like this border when I used it all along the page. So, oh, here, yeah, I did do the journaling right here. And I say my parent, teacher, and leader prayer. So that is the page. Thanks so much for joining me today. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and come back and join me next time. Thanks so much. God bless.